Well, hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited to share with you about something I have introduced to my team these past 6 months, and it has been so good. So, a little bit about me is my name is Lizzy Palios. I am a Brit living in Florida with my husband and our two amazing kids. I grabbed my starter bundle around 7 years ago, and I never looked back. I was a very happy customer for about a year and a half. And 5.5 years ago, I jumped into growing my Young Living business. I saw other people doing it, and I was so excited to get to do it too. And then last year, our team achieved the rank of diamond, and it has just been incredible. So that's a little bit about me. I'm going to be speaking to you guys today on coaching by example. This is an area I'm really passionate about. So whether you are a new brand partner or you're a Royal Crown Diamond, coaching will benefit your own personal growth and also growth in your business. Today, I'll share my own coaching style and methods, both for brand partners and for leaders on my team, and for myself too. It is something I do daily, and it has changed the game for me and my mindset. I have benefited so much from various styles of types of learning and coaching in my Young Living journey. I consider it a necessary part of my growth, so I can bring my whole self, my best self, not just to my team, my business, but also to myself as a wife and a mother and a friend too. Coaching will bless every area of your life if you let it. To me, coaching by example means that we must be willing to be coached ourselves, to see our own blind spots, and to do the work that we are encouraging our brand partners to do as well. So before we dive in, let's just define a few terms. What are the differences between leadership and management? And then how about between training and coaching? So when you step into leadership, you've taken the role of influencer and guide for your team. So it's more than just tactical, practical tasks of running a business. I see leadership as one of the highest forms of serving other people. It's helping people get the results that they want to get and helping them strive for their dreams. It means sometimes speaking the truth, even when it feels hard to do so or hard to hear. It means doing the work yourself that you expect them to do and showing them how to do that as well. Remember, as a leader, you cannot take someone where you haven't been or you're not willing to go yourself. An integral part of being a leader is knowing the needs of your team. So you're looking at what your whole team is doing, you're developing a team vision, you're casting that vision, and then you're plotting out what you need to do to create the results that you and your team want. I take responsibility for the results that my team generates. Taking full responsibility empowers the leader to affect the results and make the changes that are needed. I say that the buck stops with me no matter what. Yes, this is hard sometimes, but it's actually deeply empowering because you are able to change your results and not be a victim to them. Management is more tactical. It's the nitty-gritty stuff. It's the details. It's knowing what resources are available for your team, reading and analyzing reports, not making your data mean something negative about you, but staying in a neutral place and seeing what is needed to get the results and get you towards your next goal. It's making sure that you understand and can train on incentives, on new products, and in company programs. It's also time management. So managing means scheduling time for administrative tasks, for coaching sessions, for training classes, for personal development, for working your business. It means managing all those details. Training is something that we can all envision, right? Again, it's tactical. If you see a lack in enrollments, that's why you need to create some training for your team. Training helps build the skills that every brand partner needs to have to build a strong and sustainable business. So those training topics, for example, could be how to enroll a new customer or a new brand partner, understanding our compensation plan, or how to take care of a new customer. So I take a look at my organization as a whole, I see where it's at, and then I look at the data and I see where the gaps are, and then I will develop different training plans. New brand partners, for example, want to hit star rank, right? So I develop a training plan specifically for that. I also have to mention to check out all the resources that Young Living has created for us in our virtual office. The Rise booklet is a great way to help a new brand partner start their journey. They also have weekly trainings on their Young Living Facebook page, like A Dose of Valor. So make sure you are in those groups and that you check those out. And finally, what we're going to be talking about today, coaching. What is coaching exactly, and how is it different from what I've mentioned? So let's envision the role of a basketball coach. They know their team, they're watching, they're listening, they're determining where the strengths and where the gaps are. And what does that team need? What do the individual players need? They work with players as a group or as individuals to determine how to help them reach their individual goals and also the whole team goals. Mindset is a huge part of coaching. So when your mindset isn't right, it's really hard to move forward, right? And our minds are running 24/7 a day. Sometimes we're not even aware of the messages and drama our mind is giving us. This is where coaching helps. So maybe one of those basketball players is having a really tough string of games, and the thought that they're no longer a talented player inserts itself into their brain and they become really discouraged. So maybe they even begin to think they should quit the game entirely. It's the coach's job to work with that player to help them get back to believing in themselves and in their own abilities. Mindset challenges are a big part of why people need and can benefit from coaching. So the goal of a coach isn't necessarily to say what your brand partners want to hear, but it's what they need to hear to grow. Coaching uncovers thoughts and feelings that are directly impacting a person's results, like that player who had become discouraged. We often accept the thoughts that pop into our minds as facts when they are actually not. With just a few questions, you can uncover and help undo the thoughts that may be causing you to feel stuck. One of the most important parts of coaching is learning how to listen really well. So just as we learn to listen to our customers and our prospects and listen to what they need, we're going to be starting to listen to our brand partners' challenges and the roadblocks. And the key is knowing how to coach them through it. We have so many thoughts all the time, and we may be unaware that they're constantly running, but I promise you they are running all the time. And coaching is helping people pick through those thoughts that they're having and those feelings that those thoughts are causing. Now, we always act pretty much out of our feelings. So if I have the thought that I'm stuck right now, like, how does that make me feel? I would venture to say I'm feeling pretty negative, feeling pretty down and discouraged, right? And then ask yourself, how do I show up for my business when I'm feeling that way? You probably don't. You probably actually are more hiding, not doing things that you know you need to do to push the needle forward in your business. Or maybe you're like me and you buffer with good things like doing laundry. That is my go-to. And then our results always come directly from the actions we're taking, or maybe that we're not taking. So my clothes got put away and that was great, but I actually didn't go and follow up with those 5 people who had been interested in grabbing some oils with me. And what happens if I don't follow up with them? I probably won't get to enroll them, right? So a coach helps people get the results that they want by helping them uncover the uncomfortable things that their brain is offering them. Coaching brings awareness to where the mindset is. It's not just giving advice. In fact, we have to be really careful not to just jump to giving 10 pages of advice. If someone is struggling with a thought that is affecting their business and you direct them just to do several actions like just do this or just reach out some more or teach a class, it's actually not going to help them if they're feeling really discouraged. But that's often our knee-jerk reaction, because you can see that if they just reach out more, their business is going to grow. Or if they just teach this class on loyalty rewards, they're going to keep more customers. They have to get their thoughts straight first, and then will come the feelings that will lead to them taking the actions and then getting the results that they really want to get in their business. So a common challenge that can arise when we are coaching someone is the tendency to judge their thoughts and guess what they're thinking or what they're dealing with. When we do that, we can often get it wrong. We end up investing time and energy into solving an issue, which wasn't actually the real issue at all. The advice monster, it's called, wants to come out. Because when someone is struggling, we want to throw things at them to do to fix the problem, but that is actually not effective. Now that we've identified what coaching is, let's talk through different types of coaching, starting with my own experiences being coached. I know that I need to be coached to be an even stronger leader and coach my team well. It's hard to help someone else if you don't know where your own head is at, right? I've been very consistent in the past 5.5 years investing in my own personal growth. And over this past year, I've been working with a professional coach. Kristen Boss is one of our keynote speakers at this convention, and I'm so excited for you all to hear from her, and she is my coach. So I'd recommend definitely turning into her weekly podcast called Purposeful Social Selling. I train my entire team on those. Those are fantastic. So Kristen is a life coach, and I sought her out because I knew I needed to go to the next level in terms of my own mindset, and I needed guidance to get there. Now, Kristen does a lot of listening, like any coach does. And in doing that, she's teaching me how to coach, as well as helping with my own challenges I'm facing as a business owner. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And I knew my cup needed to be filled first. And as a leader, it's amazing to learn how to self-coach. And I'm going to teach you guys how to do that. Okay, so firstly, I will do thought dumps. They're called almost daily. I will get a notepad out and I will write down everything that's coming to my mind and just get it onto paper. I ask myself, how am I feeling? And I just get that all down. So let's say I'm struggling with belief. I'll write out anything and everything I feel like I'm in low belief about. Is it belief in myself, my network, the Young Living business model? Like, what is it? What's going on? And to fix my low belief, I have to get real and honest with my thoughts and how they are making me feel. Sometimes we don't want to sit with hard thoughts because they're uncomfortable, but they're there in your brain anyway, whether you say they're there or not. They're taking up valuable real estate, and we need to get them out and get them sorted. So then I'll ask myself questions like, why should someone sign up with me? What's the benefit of joining my team? Why do my customers need to use all of our amazing products? Or why is a Young Living the best compensation plan to build a business with? For you, you might write out that you're a good friend, or that you're funny, or that you really care deeply about people and you help people get what they need. So that is why you're the best person to sign up with. So as you really think through these things and get those things written out, watch your belief and how it grows. So the thought, even that one, I'm in low belief, actually isn't a fact, right? It's something that you can easily pick apart and dissect. Find out why you're in low belief, or you're thinking you're in low belief. And often asking yourself why several times, if you need to, will get you the answer that you need. So I check in with myself daily, even before I start my work day, to make sure I'm on a solid footing so I can be the leader that my team really needs, the leader who guides them in our vision of sharing wellness, purpose, and abundance. So as a tool for my own self-coaching, I use the model by the founder of the Life Coach School, Brooke Castillo. It has been a life-changing tool, and I highly recommend looking at it. So she teaches that circumstances or facts trigger thoughts, which then produce feelings in our body, which then generate actions. And then those actions cause the results that we're getting. And remember, the action that is generated by feelings could actually be inaction, which causes not so great results, right? I really believe in this model. So if you're interested in learning more about that, Brooke has a YouTube video channel and podcast called The Life Coach School. And if you can even download a self-coaching model on her website, thelifecoachschool.com. I recommend you keep coaching yourself, checking on your belief, building it, taking a real look at where your business is and where you want it to be. And then what do you need to implement to get it there? So I'm learning how to be a better leader myself as I coach my team, as I'm listening and hearing the common roadblocks that they're experiencing. And I've experienced many myself, I promise you, and I still do. I did think the market was saturated, or I was afraid of being pushy with people. I doubted my strength as a leader. Like, I can relate to all of those roadblocks. I recently coached with a brand partner on my team on our weekly group coaching call who was feeling stuck, and she wasn't reaching out to people. She told me, I'm just worried because my market is so tapped out. So I asked why. And she said to me, because other people at my church, they sell Young Living. And I said, does everyone there use Young Living? Everyone in your life? She said, actually, no. None of my friends from my hometown use Young Living products yet. And actually, not everyone at church does either. So then I coached her back and I said, is it a fact then that your market is tapped out? And she said, actually, no, it's not. So our mind tells us things that turn into our own thoughts, and our brain then presents those things as facts. My market is tapped out. Is that really a fact? It's not. It's a thought. So I asked her, what was that thought causing you to feel? And she said, discouragement. So I said, okay, so let's rethink this. What thought could you have to help you feel excited to share your Young Living products? She said, well, I love these oils and how they've helped my family, and others need to experience these too. I want everyone to experience these. And I said, well, how does that thought make you feel? She said, hopeful and excited. So I asked, how does someone who is feeling hopeful and excited as a brand partner act? Like, what are some of the things that they do? She says they share their love for oils on their social media, or they give friends samples or rollers to try out. And I asked, what results could you see from doing that? And she said, well, people will try the oils, they will love them too, and then they can enroll and join my team, and my business will grow. So just notice the first thought there, that her market was tapped out, created inaction, right? That's going to lead to no results. But that second thought, that people really need Young Living and that not everyone actually has Young Living yet, created action. She created a plan to make samples and rollers and give them to friends. So here's another example of a thought creating inaction. I had a brand partner who was worried that she would appear pushy if she shared Young Living. That's one of the most common roadblocks I hear, by the way, especially when people are getting started in this business. Anyway, we needed to pick apart why she was feeling this way. So I pointed out that she had 70 people in her downline and that each of them had said yes to her on her team at some point, right? She said, yes, that's actually true. And I said, do they respond well when you reach out to them? She said, yeah, they did, especially when she shared helpful tips and tricks or diffuser recipes. She suddenly saw that people actually did want to hear what she was sharing. And after our conversation, she said she felt much better, and she made a plan to then reach out to her team and customers. And she then set up some fun in-person events as well. Another roadblock I hear a lot is, I posted on social media and no one said anything. And so therefore people can say to me, social media doesn't work. Okay, so let's pick this apart. So when I dig in with them a little bit, I learned that maybe they posted like once or twice. And then when they didn't get an avalanche of responses, they had the thought that no one wanted to hear about Young Living and began to feel so discouraged. So one more example I had of a brand partner who works in a salon, and they use essential oils there, but not Young Living's. So she wanted to talk with the salon staff about using Young Living because they obviously like and believe in essential oils, but she was nervous to talk about it. Again, I said, what's going on? And she said, I don't want to be pushy. And I asked her, what's a pushy person? And she said, someone who cares more about themselves than others. I said, okay, is that who you are? Do you think that's who you are? And she said, no, actually, I really just love to help people. So I said, okay, do you need to then worry about being pushy? And she said, I guess not. I actually do just really love sharing these products because they've helped me so much and I know they can help other people. So then she took her oils to the salon the next day and invited one of her co-workers to a class we were teaching. And those kind of actions are going to get you the results that you want to get. So the next time I spoke with this brand partner, she said she felt really unblocked after our coaching session, and she was happily sharing again with people. She then re-ranked to senior star and also has a new brand partner who just hit star. And these are the kind of results that we want to be seeing, right? So these are pretty common coaching topics and results. As I said, it's all about mindset. It's not just listening to a podcast, but really digging into your own brain and then also helping other people do the same. At the leadership level, when I'm coaching my executives and up, there are different responsibilities as you're managing a downline and also in your own personal growth too. That's why I believe wholeheartedly that leaders must be aware of their own coaching needs. When you coach leaders, it's the same cadence, but the blocks can be different. So this is an example from my weekly coaching. These are some thoughts that can come up. My team isn't working. And so I'll say, tell me more about that. Well, they're not enrolling new customers and brand partners, and our numbers are going in the wrong direction. And so I'll ask them, why do you think that is? And as we talk through the issue, you may uncover that they maybe haven't been providing regular training on those topics that every brand partner needs on like sharing, customer care, retention, and so on. It's not a matter of the team not wanting to grow their business. It was a need for the right training and connection with the team. So when you see the issue, you can then change your actions and therefore your results. And this is what we want to help people do. So as we're coaching, it is so important to allow for the quiet moments to happen. So maybe you ask the question and they're kind of pausing to think. A lot can happen in this silence, so don't rush it. This is when an individual is really thinking through and finding their thoughts. We have to hold space for them, for their emotions and for their thoughts. And it can be a challenging exercise, but we really want them to tune in to the thoughts versus the facts and get them separated. That will lead to a realization, and then it will allow them to make a plan to then meet the goals that they want to reach. The fact is that everyone can be a little bit resistant to coaching because it can feel uncomfortable. It can feel vulnerable. It's the brain's job to keep us alive, and that means it works hard to avoid any kind of pain and any kind of risk. It wants to protect us from all of that. So that means we typically avoid, resist, or push away negative emotions. So much of our day, we are working against our own brains and we don't even realize it. So accepting coaching can be one of those things that we want to resist. For people who may be nervous about being coached, group coaching is fantastic, and I do a lot of that. I hold weekly 1-hour coaching sessions twice a week for my brand partners through Senior Star, and then the other one is for my executive ranks and up. All those common issues we talk about them in these sessions. I may be talking with one brand partner in particular, but those who are tuned in themselves, they see themselves in that conversation and they benefit from it as well. We all can have the exact same roadblock, so this is why group coaching is great. So here are some coaching questions that I use personally that you can try to with your team. First of all, I ask, what's a win from this week? And this puts our brain in an open position that it will get to those thoughts that are really bothering it. So what's a win from this week? Start from a positive place. And then I ask, what's a roadblock that you are running into? Like, what's something that's going on? And I always ask a lot of why and questions like, what else? And also, what are you making that mean about you? So say they're talking about their numbers. I'm saying, what are you making that mean about you? Maybe they'll tell me, maybe I'm just bad at this. And I'll ask them, do you think that's really true? And then we'll go from there. Often when you're asking the question of why, it can actually be like the third or fourth time that starts to get to the actual issue and the actual thought that they're having that's bothering them. So again, let the conversation unfold. Listen, don't be afraid of the silence. Don't try and rescue people immediately out of their negative feelings, because a lot can happen in that time. As the session progresses, someone may share, I'm struggling with this, and someone else says to themselves, oh, me too, and then we walk through it all together. These common issues so often cause roadblocks that we can unravel in a group setting, and maybe for some people, that's a little less threatening than a one-on-one coaching session because they can just watch and learn from it. So either way, there are huge benefits to coaching to everyone who participates, including the leader putting on the session. I'm always learning and growing as I coach. So when you coach your brand partners effectively, it not only helps them understand to overcome their roadblocks, but it also deepens the trust between you and them. So when you allow yourself to be really seen by another person, it strengthens your bonds. Remember, vulnerability leads to connection. I encourage leaders to share their own challenges that they're being coached on too. And when you share that you struggle from time to time as well, it gives your team permission to share their own struggles. And they know it's a safe space for them to do so. So as we close our time together, I'd like to encourage you guys to do a few things with what I've shared today. First, do your own self-coaching exercise. Check in with yourself and see where you are at. Tap into resources like Brooke Castillo's materials, your upline, or other Young Living brand partners to help guide you. Next, check in with a team member who may be experiencing a bumpy patch. Use the techniques I've discussed today to help them unravel those thoughts, which, remember, probably aren't facts that are keeping them stuck. It's so rewarding to work with a team member and see that light in their eyes as they realize they can make a shift towards going for their goals and realizing their Young Living dreams. Thank you so much for joining me today, and have a wonderful convention.